than you do pre-scripted and edited thought.
Exactly. The spontaneity comes through, and you get a feel for it. That's why this is one of the ground rules that I laid down when John and I were putting this together, as I wanted to do the interviews live wherever possible. I mean, I wouldn't turn down a recorded interview if that was the only way we could get it, but I wanted them to be live because it's more real. It's more, the feeling is there. I want the show to feel like we're all sitting around the coffee table having a conversation and enjoying ourselves. It's a real atmosphere.
In
John's
music
favorite word.
It's just cool because there's always the danger that it could go off the track.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not thinking about it, if you're reacting, and sometimes it's that danger and excitement of maybe it is going to go off the track that makes it exciting. And sometimes, it does go off the track, but you got to snatch yourself back. That's exciting too. That's I think part of the performance.
I think the bottom line is the proof is in reality. People come to see you play live. Why? I mean, they can buy the records or CDs and play them at home anytime they want, but they still want to see you live. Why? Because of the feeling, or again, John's favorite word, atmosphere.
Atmosphere. That's right.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's very seldom doing original music that you're going to do it the same way twice.
Exactly, right. And that's part of the beauty of it. I mean, no two people are the same. Would you want to meet everybody who is exactly the same as your best friend? I mean... Yeah,
you don't wear the same clothes every day. You wear different combinations of, shirts, socks, underwear, whatever.
Right.
And it's that combination is that feeling of right now, this time, this instance.
That can also take you back to the, the whole analog versus digital argument where, analog is going to provide you with... an atmosphere or a feeling that the digital won't, and more closer to a live performance, even though it may not be, than a digital recording will do for you.
Yeah, in fact, those cracks on the record sound good to me. Those little, the little thing.
Oh yeah, I can remember years ago,
cool.
about 15 years ago, I took at the time my 13-year-old son and pulled him aside, and I got out. 2 copies of a record, one on CD, one on record. It was Gordon Lightfoot and a song called Affair on 8th Avenue, which if you've never heard it, it's just a wonderful song. And I asked him to tell me which one was better. And I had him more or less blindfolded so he couldn't see which was playing. And without hesitation, he says, it's that one, Dad. And he was, referring to the one that was playing on my AR turntable.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And one of the good things about rap, if there is such a good thing,
I was going to ask.
Is there a good thing about rap?
Is the use of turntables. You can go out now and you can find turntables. A decent quality turntable does not break your neck expensive.
Right. Yep. There's truth to that. I joke about rap, and it's not my personal favorite style of music, although anybody that knows me knows that I dig all kinds of music. I've even listened to opera at times. Not too much, but at times. But they all have their place, whether you like it or not. That's why there are so many types of genres of music, is because nobody likes them all. You got to have the ones that you personally like. And my thing with rap is they tend to... Well, 2 things really, just 2 points. They tend to get exploitative at times. There are times when I feel they are doing things simply to sell the product, not to make the product better. And the fact that I feel that they tend to get away from the music part of it. It becomes what do I want to say? It becomes more of a monologue, a statement, than an actual piece of music.
Yeah, I'm old school enough to think that music means that there's an instrument involved. If you're going to call yourself a musician, then I'd like to think that you put the time in to learn to express yourself with that instrument, so that the instrument itself becomes an expression or an extension of your soul, as opposed to just going online and sampling what someone else has done. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Recycling. I mean, there are people that are very creative with it. Dr. Dre is very creative with the music that he creates. the kids Digital Underground out of Oakland are very creative with the music that they put in underneath the raps. But some of it is just a regurgitation of something that's often unpleasant.
Yeah, that's true.
There. I'll keep my language clean.
Well, tell me about the interaction with you guys in the band, because I know you guys you do a lot of session work individually. You perform individually, but yet you come together as a group, and there has to be a core reason why you guys play together.
In Titty Bingo?
Yeah.
We all essentially like each other. And it's,
helps.
Music, when you're performing it, it's like a conversation. You get people in the room that speak a common language, and you communicate, you talk.
Mm-hmm.
So each song, hopefully, is a conversation, between people who speak a language that they all understand.
That's an excellent way of putting it. I hadn't thought of it in quite that terms, but you're actually absolutely right. And that is a very interesting way to put it. Tell us, for the listeners that aren't familiar with you guys, tell us about the members of the group.
It's Dar Jamil. Dar writes the majority of the tunes. He's really passionate about his songwriting, and he has a good, talented core group of friends, who help him get his vision across. Fred Fletcher on the drums. Fred is a maniac. He's one of my favorite human beings on this earth. He's Willie Nelson's nephew. He owns a couple of recording studios in Austin, but he's very expressive and musical with his drumming. He listens very closely to what the melody's doing, to what the lyrics are saying, and he does all that with sticks, with a non-note making instrument. Derek O'Brien is one of my favorite human beings and one of my favorite guitar players on this earth. He's a great blues player. He's known primarily as a blues player, but that's just a label. Derek can pretty much do anything he wants to with the guitar. And then there's Bobby Nelson, who's Willie Nelson's sister. Bobby's a big, warm, secure blanket on everything. When Bobby's in the room, there's a vibe and an energy that comes from Bobby that just makes your innards smile, just because she's there. And then there's this guy from Houston on bass who just tries to hang in.
Well, I've heard rumors that he hangs in pretty well. Let's see, we've got a Grammy Award somewhere on the mantle there, and a W.C. Handy Award for your work with Taj Mahal, or excuse me, for his work with Taj Mahal. Not to mention the Phantom Blues Band. Tell us a little about the Phantom Blues Band, because I know people are familiar with Taj Mahal, and we're now becoming more familiar with you. Tell us about the Phantom Blues Band.
The Phantoms are primarily a group of Texans who moved to L.A., and we all kind of made names for ourselves as studio musicians. Johnny Shell was Bonnie Raitt's right-hand person for about 20 years through that Nick of Time and Luck of the Draw record, so they were friends forever. Tony Bronigal, the drummer, was also with Bonnie for a long time, but also with Bette Midler and too many people to think of. He's now producing and touring with Eric Burden. He played with Robert Cray for a long time. Horns, Darrell Leonard and Joe Sublette. They got Rolling Stones records, Delaney and Bonnie records, Elton John records. Everyone has, lengthy discographies. And Mike Finnegan on keyboards on Hammond B3, and Mike played with Jimi Hendrix on Electric Ladyland, Dave Mason for a long time, Crosby, Stills, and Nash for a long time, and he's been Bonnie's keyboard player for the last 3 or 4 years since we toured with her in 2009 for most of the year, and Mike became her keyboard player. So it's a bunch of primarily session guys, but we've done so many sessions together that we enjoy making records on our own.
Right, that's understandable. Yeah, you picked a little bit on the keyboards yourself too, haven't you?
I played keyboards for a lot of reggae groups. For most of the '80s, I was a keyboard player.
Right. Yeah. You were with you were with Smokey for a while, Smokey Robinson.
I played bass with Smokey. Yeah, in the 80s.
Oh, okay. And with the Crusaders, were you doing keyboards with them?
No, man. The Crusaders have my big brother and best friend Joe Sample on the keyboards. I can't mention myself in the same paragraph with Joe. Though when I do play keyboards,
with Joe Sample?
I beg your pardon?
Did you ever play with Joe Sample?
Yeah, Joe is actually on the latest Phantom Blues Band record, and he lives here in Houston. He's a good mentor. He has been for years. Back during the late '70s, early '80s, I was the Crusaders' sub bass player whenever they were between players, because I always had my own thing going.
I remember seeing him several times out in California at the Mammoth Lakes Music Festival. This is probably going back 30 years or so.
Yes, I played with them up there at the Mammoth Festival, so it's possible that we crossed paths.
We may have crossed paths because I was working for a radio station in Bishop, California at the time, and we were very heavily into promoting the Mammoth Music Festival year after year.
Whoa!
And he never invited me up there for it.
That's jogging the memory banks, driving through Bishop to get to Mammoth. Yes, indeed.
Oh yeah, God's country out there.
Beautiful country up there.
It is
to our
amazing.
listeners in California, and anywhere else for that matter, if you haven't been up through, Lancaster, and then up to Lone Pine, Big Pine, Bishop, and up that way, you have missed a part of heaven.
Yeah, it's amazing up there. And Joe lived up there for a long time.
Yeah, he did. He had a home up there, I remember.
Yes, he did. So
we're going to go... go ahead.
Oh, no, he's been a mentor and a confidant since about 78, and he'd get me work, he'd produce my bands, and we've just been friends. He's still one of my dearest friends. I love him. That
makes all the difference in the world. That's the only way John and I have been able to stand each other for 40 years. But we met when I joined a country station in Tampa, Florida, about 40 years ago, and we've been giving each other a hard time ever since.
He likes the Yankees, I like the Red Sox. It's a no-win situation.
Absolutely.
Well, it's like Larry Pareigis was saying. Someone that has known you for a long time, that trusts you and loves you for who you are, not what you're doing. You can't.
Exactly right.
You can't beat that.
Yep. Larry, I got a question for you. Are there any plans for Titty Bingo to leave the great Republic of Texas and go on tour?
I doubt it.
Okay.
Well, that means we're going to have to pack up and boogie off to Texas.
We do Willie Nelson's picnics and we do Farm Aid, at times. But I don't see a bingo tour in the offing anytime in the near future. I mean, I never say never because you never know, but I don't think so. Not that.
Well, then I guess we're just going to have to, we're going to have to pack up them and come out to Texas, road trip, and you guys are going to buy us some fine barbecue.
Oh yeah, come on down.
Larry, we're going to close off today with a thing called "Little Angel" from the Live at Pedernales album. You want to tell us a little about this song, because I know you sing on this one too.
I sing some harmonies on it. It's a fun tune. It's a burst of energy. It starts off blazing and just blazes all the way through. One of the cool things about Rob Fraboni's production of Titty Bingo is there's really no overdubs. It's kind of like the old Sheffield direct-to-disc type thing. You start playing, and the performance that's there is the performance that came out that day at that moment.
What you hear is what you get.
What you hear is what you get.
Amen to that. Larry, it's a joy as always having you with us, or any of the guys from Titty Bingo, and also Rob Fraboni, who's been with us in the past, and a wonderful person to talk to, too. Thanks for sharing all your stories and your music with us. Give our best to all the gang. We love you all, and, of course, thank you for providing our theme music, too. And one of these days we're going to, when we have a little extra time on the show, we're going to play the theme all the way.